Anything for anyone? A new digital divide in Internet of Things skills. The Internet of Things promises social benefits across a range of policy areas, such as energy, health, transportation, public safety, and environmental policy. But attention to the skills needed by individuals who use it will be an important issue for public policy. In order to ensure full exploitation of these technologies and to avoid unintended consequences, we argue that comparative advantages of the IoT to people will vary based on differentiated skills and resources, enabling smaller groups of people to benefit, and disadvantaging others in new ways. We discuss evolving digital technologies and related skills, and explain from a systems perspective how the IoT differs from prior technologies, with a premium placed on user knowledge and strategic skills. Finally, we bring together the issues of the digital divide and IoT skills, and set an agenda for future IoT public policy and research. Declining wages, financial handouts to banks, austerity programs in social spending, and the transfer of the tax burden to wages are all commonly cited reasons for the recent growth of social inequality in the West. Early research concerning the digital divide primarily considered a twofold classification, haves versus have-nots. Now, digital divide research applies multifaceted conceptualizations, spanning motivation, material access, skills, use, and outcomes. From this viewpoint, it is crucial to look at the latest phase of technological development, that of the Internet of Things. The IoT comprises everyday devices implemented with microprocessors and sensors beyond the rectangular confines of personal computers, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. The technology has been finding wide applicability and is expected to deliver great benefits to its users. Digital technologies have evolved rapidly over the past several decades, and will continue to grow in their capabilities, changing the way that end users interact with technologies, and the skill sets needed by individuals. The development of the Internet transformed the uses for the PC, building a network of computer networks. In the vision of the IoT, an increasing number of embedded devices of all sorts are capable of communicating and sharing data over the Internet. By penetrating smart things into the web, conventional services can be enriched with physical world services. Although there is no generally accepted definition of the IoT, existing notions do agree on several aspects. Based on these commonalities, for the purposes of the discussion in this article, we consider IoT as: contain ubiquitous everyday objects, contain identifying and networking capabilities that allow them to communicate information about themselves, involve object, person, and person communication, and make autonomous decisions. Several features of the IoT present new challenges for users in comparison with previous waves of Internet use. These include: more data, less autonomy, less visibility and more ambiguity, more risk. The skills implications for the IoT warrant closer examination and further research to support effective policy, minimize harms, and maximize the social benefits from these innovations. The development of the PC, therefore, emphasized new sets of operational and formal skills for media use, albeit built on prior foundations such as basic literacy. The advent of Web 1.0 added operational skills to use an internet browser and numerous apps, and formal skills to adequately use hypermedia in which users can choose their own nonlinear paths, providing substantial user control. The most dramatic change was the increased need for information skills for searching, selecting, processing, and evaluating information, including digital texts, images, videos, and figures. More complex systems of network communications call for social and collaborative skills online. Social media also differ in their purposes and audiences across platforms, involving choices and strategic skill. In the context of Web 2.0, content creation skills have become increasingly important. The examples above show that while the type of skills remain similar for different phases of technology development, the needed skills have acquired a different meaning or emphasis over time. Recent work on the popular notion of 21st century skills comes to this conclusion as well. Besides information and communication, there are greater requirements for problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. The IoT has changed people's lifestyle and is developing rapidly. But it also improves the needs of skills. Table 1 shows how 5 features of the IoT may affect digital skills, increasing demands for some, while decreasing the need for others. Where spaces are left blank, we anticipate that there is little change, though there are empirical questions that need to be answered by further research. Operational and formal skills in the IoT are less frequent and less visible. Because the IoT comprises sensing, storing, processing, identifying, and networking capabilities embedded in ubiquitous everyday objects, the technology can integrate itself into everyday life and become indistinguishable from it. The objects in the IoT system sense their environments and communicate with other devices and people. They also make autonomous decisions to help users deal with the huge amount of ambiguous data. Whereas previous technologies typically required a fully aware user to operate a device, in the IoT, humans can be mostly passive and unaware of what is happening. With the amount of data increasing, the data is becoming more complex and ambiguous. There will be much more emphasis on information skills, which are used for selection, interpretation, and quality assessment. As for communication skills, they help understanding how devices communicate with other devices and humans and vice versa, and how users communicate with other users in the IoT system. Most importantly, strategic skills, which decide what data should be collected and how it should be used to gain optimal outcomes. Trust, privacy, and security management are increasingly imperiled when automatic communication between IoT objects is deployed. Security is one concern, with hacking of connected baby monitors, locks, cars, and medical implants such as pacemakers posing clear dangers. Additionally, the collection, analysis, and use of data are often not transparent to users, making it more difficult to make strategic decisions about whether or not to use a device, because of the risks compared to the benefits. Consequently, IoT interventions can be unintended, unforeseen, and unexpected. Recent investigations in Western societies suggest that although an increasing number of people have access to the internet, inequality continues to rise on account of skills and usage opportunities. In the contemporary literature on the digital divide, inequality of internet skills is acknowledged as a key dimension, affecting types of engagement and social outcomes of internet use, or digital citizenship. Education is an important resource for these skills, and its significance will increase for information skills like data literacy, and the ability to make strategic choices to protect privacy and security. A recent survey showed that respondents with a high school education or less averaged only 4 out of 13 correct responses on cybersecurity questions, compared to 7 out of 13 for college graduates. Additionally, the IoT can deepen inequalities through big data, in areas such as hiring, credit, insurance, healthcare, and service access. No representative data that excludes racial and ethnic groups, women, the disabled, the elderly, and the poor reinforces existing biases, with a veneer of objectivity. To obtain a thorough understanding of IoT skills inequality in daily life, we suggest scholars should fuse knowledge from different disciplines. Such research could inform changes in devices, education, and public policy that increase the benefits of IoT, and that empower users. Audiences include IoT developers, firms, and other institutions employing IoT technology, educators and trainers, and policymakers. So far, behavioral factors that are necessary for understanding the impact of the IoT have been largely ignored, and the social sciences have not sufficiently contributed to the IoT's development. Consequently, we know little about how individuals participate within IoT systems, and how this is affected by critical user skills. While we have explored the use of IoT technology from the standpoint of the digital skills of individual users, The issue of skills raises several important questions for public policy and for further research. Education and skills training, policies that promote information and transparency about the uses of data, better privacy and security practices in the industry, and regulation are options that may be considered in different instances, to facilitate potential benefits and reduce risks. More evidence in this emerging area is needed, and researchers can play an important role in examining skills, systems, and outcomes.